Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner.
And our dog, Betty White.
Your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jerry.
Betty White, our golden girl, is hanging here with us and chewing on a Frisbee and making all kinds of noise. But we are back for episode 102 of the Arner Adventures Podcast.
98 more to the big anniversary, the big 200.
Big 200 celebration.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we're just going to kind of get right into this, but we do want to tease a little bit of who our guest is. Our guest is someone who specializes in capsule wardrobes. She's a personal stylist, but not just capsule wardrobes, but a sustainable capsule wardrobe. So you've heard us talk about fast fashion before and how we try to avoid that, and the resell of clothes, and back during COVID when we sold a bunch of clothes and then learned how you can just buy things when you need it that are sometimes pre-owned. Sometimes people get something and they decide they don't want it and they sell it, but it keeps all of that stuff out of the landfill that may end up getting there. So it's a great way to build your wardrobe of things that you're actually going to wear, and you're helping the environment. And I think that this guest was right up our alley, right?
Oh, I think so too. And I'm no fashionista, but I definitely took much interest in what she was saying and got a few ideas.
Yeah.
I never get ideas about clothing.
I know.
I did today.
Well, before we get into who our guest is, we would love it if you would pop on over to wherever it is in your platform that you do the reviews or ratings, and give us 5 stars and, tell us how great we are doing. If you've got something negative to say, well, you don't have to go over there. Just kind of keep on with your day. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. But if you really want to support the podcast, 5-star ratings and reviews are the way to do it, right?
That's the way to go.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our guest today is Linda Waldon. Like we said, she's a professional stylist and an expert in capsule wardrobes. And she came to us from Santa Fe, and we recorded this on a Saturday, and we loved having her into our home. Mm-hmm. So we think you'll enjoy the conversation. You ready to get to it?
I certainly am.
Well, we told you a little bit about today's guest, and we're so excited to welcome her now. Her name is Linda Waldon. She is a passionate personal stylist with over 15 years of experience. She specializes in creating sustainable capsule wardrobes and reselling pre-owned clothing. We cannot wait to dig into all of that. Her mission is to empower clients to embrace their unique style and reduce their fashion footprint. We have similar situation here with the way that we think and that we do things, but your belief that style is a state of mind helps clients feel confident and look their best through free color and body shape quizzes and online courses. She makes personal styling accessible to all, promoting self-expression and sustainability in fashion. Linda, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you both for inviting me. This is very exciting.
Our audience knows a little bit about kind of our path of this. We'll kind of tell you a little bit about why we're so interested in this, but we first want to paint a picture to our audience of where you're coming to us from. So where are you right now?
Oh, yes. I'm coming to you from the land of enchantment, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay. Okay.
A beautiful high desert town. We're at 7,000 feet elevation.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pinon trees, juniper trees. It's not your typical desert.
Uh-huh.
It's trees mixed with cactus and flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, I've been to Joshua Tree and Palm Springs and Idlewild, that whole area, but I've never been to Santa Fe.
It's really beautiful. There's so much to see, so much history also.
Yeah.
That
And
sounds really neat. And it says that on the license plate, right? Because I think I've heard that before. Land of Enchantment. Does it?
it is. It
I thought
is.
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I
I
thought
was
you were
like,
just telling us it was Land of Enchantment, like
Yeah.
on your own. I didn't know it
no,
was
it's like,
actually
I
known
No,
was
that.
I
like, that
did
rings
not
a
make
bell.
that up. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Jerry's full of fun facts like that, so it
I
doesn't
Yeah.
surprise
just
me.
noticed those things. Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
of those places, young and old love it. Every
Oh,
age group,
Cool.
every men and women, everybody has something they love about it. There's
Mhm.
skiing here, it's very outdoorsy.
Yeah.
yeah.
But also there's all the culture and the beautiful museums, and then there's the food, of course.
Yeah.
Oh
We're
boy.
known
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the chili.
Yeah.
So
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
very
Okay.
artsy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can picture
we
that
would
as
we would
well.
love it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, the food.
Yeah.
Well, we just to kind of let you know a little bit about us, we made a huge transition of lifestyles back in 2017 down to a minimalist lifestyle. And when COVID hit, we were just sort of on this, I don't know, this kick of getting healthy. And I lost a lot of weight, which was a good thing. And
Right.
but I was introduced to the world of resale, and we did not want to get out and buy clothes. So we kind of had the rule that, okay, we have to sell something and then buy it at a resale also. So I don't think we've bought new clothes in a really long time, but so we understand the importance of that. And we love the
Yeah.
sustainability portion of it,
Yeah.
which is why everything that you encompass is so interesting to us. But I would love it if you could let us know. A lot of people get into personal styling, but they don't have the sustainability and capsule wardrobe part of it. So I'd
Yeah.
like to know about that journey for you and what inspired you to that part of it, a sustainable personal stylist.
I think it's been a journey for me. Like I said, I've been doing this now for 15 years. And this is my second career. My first career was in the computer industry because I
Okay.
moved out to California in the mid 70s, you guys.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
computers, PCs were just being invented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fell into it and became a trainer. I'm
Uh-huh.
basically a teacher. Whatever I learn, I like to teach.
Uh-huh.
So at that point, nobody was teaching people how to use computers. So that was a 25-year career for me in the Bay Area and traveling
Mhm.
the world and things like that. Well, guess what? Then I turned 50. And all of a sudden, I started to feel invisible. And I don't know if you've experienced that, but I talk to a lot of women, and that's kind of a natural thing that starts happening to us. And so
Mhm.
I remember I met this woman who always looked so good and so put together. I mean, I was just lost why I was feeling that way. And so she told me she had been to a workshop and she learned her colors and she learned how to put her outfits together. And she said, I became visible again. And I went, okay, I want to drink what you're drinking. So I went to that workshop.
Mhm.
And it changed my life. I swear. As soon as I started really honing in on what made me feel good and how I could express myself through my clothing and my appearance, I became visible again. So it was
Okay.
around that time that I thought, okay, I'm ready to do something new in my career. And so I went to fashion design school and became a personal stylist. So that's kind of when I started working mostly with women. I do work with men, but I think women are kind of more open to this and they
Mhm.
definitely understand they have too many clothes,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
a lot of kind of what I do now, in addition to teaching them their best colors and their body shape and how to really complement their shape and, put outfits together, I talk to them about really kind of honing in and refining their wardrobe. So it's easier because it
Sure.
feels like as we get older or as we're busy, let's say you're busy parents or your work is very busy, you want a really refined wardrobe that works for you and everything is what you want to wear.
Mhm.
So that's how I started kind of exploring capsule wardrobes.
Right.
And the key with a capsule is it's everything that you need for your lifestyle. And it sounds
Uh-huh.
like you guys have really got that down. You've downsized.
Listen, if you've been with us for a while, you have heard us mention that we receive a lot of inquiries from CBD brands every single week. We're not exaggerating on that. The more we started getting these CBD brands, we started going, well, what's the deal? And we started looking more into them and then talking to more people about it. But what we discovered, I mean, these are things you're putting in your body, right? What we discovered is that not all CBD products are safe. Not all of them are created equally. There's just a lot of things you should pay attention to when it comes to CBD brands.
Yeah, and I mean that was all new to me. I didn't know a
Yeah.
whole lot about it. I just knew that was a kind of it's neon lights that flashed outside of the convenience store. The
Right.
CBD. That's where Dan and Dan Hempworks came in. They provide an organic hemp flower infusions. Yeah, their products contribute to our daily routines, like managing our stress and promoting our restful sleep,
Which
which is
you need.
big for us. I especially need it. Energy, boosted energy without the use of caffeine, although we kind of combine the two together a little bit.
Yeah, we do sometimes put it in our coffee.
We put it right in our coffee.
That's true, but you don't want the added caffeine.
Yeah. And as active as we are, it helps us in our recovery from the stiffness and soreness we get from our 24/7 active bodies.
Well, I'll tell you, not only do we love it, Betty White loves it. They offer a specialized CBD hemp flower infusion designed for pets. She is a regular user. She can attest if she could talk. But, she does. We use it on her food, and we also make treats with it. And we're just big fans of the Dan Dan Hemp Works around the Arner household.
Well, I asked her the one time, tap your paw twice if you like Dan, and she did it.
Okay.
So that's her way of speaking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can use our exclusive discount code Mindful35 to save 35% off plus free shipping. It's also available in the show notes.
It sure is. Give it a try and let us know what you think. And let's just go ahead and get back to the conversation.
Let's go back to the show.
Yeah. And I think what I'm most interested in too, because I see you're wearing, people who are looking at this on YouTube see that you have a lot of colors in your top right now. I think that the issue that we have, I think, is that since we've downsized and since we feel like, okay, we've got sort of a capsule wardrobe, it seems to all be black or white. It just seems like it's, and when there's pops of color, it's like, okay, yeah, the colors are great. But then I go, but I feel like I just wore that color. Are they going to see but if I wear black, I don't feel like they know as much if I do some different things. So that's one of the things I love about you. It was on your website when I saw you. I was like, oh, like she's doing a sustainable capsule wardrobe, but she also has colors and patterns. And so I love that part of it. And I wanted to learn more about that from you as well.
Yeah. And I can talk to you about color because to me, yes, everyone loves to wear black because it's easy. They say it goes with everything. Women think it makes them look thinner. I disagree, especially if you're standing in front of a white wall.
That's right.
We can see your body, people. So black is not necessarily the answer. And it gets kind of boring, don't you think?
It definitely does. It definitely does. And I also don't want to have people have the assumption that when you have a minimalist lifestyle, it has to be all black. Like I don't like that part of it.
And also minimal to me, and maybe you have some information and opinions about this too, but minimal is different for different people.
Yes.
So as soon as I say capsule, some women say, oh, no, I want choice.
Yeah.
Because, we still kind of want, even when we travel, if you only take a few items, sometimes that feels too minimal, too restrictive. And so, especially if you like to express yourself through your clothing, you want choice. And the key is to really, understand that you want some neutral colors. So your black and your white are definitely great neutral colors.
Uh-huh.
But then you build on that and you have, let's say, the sweater that I'm wearing, this Missoni knitted sweater, it's just got all my colors in it.
Mm-hmm.
So think about how flexible that is. I can wear a purple shirt or a mustard colored shirt or green. So I can kind of change it up by using this statement sweater, that third piece that
Mm-hmm.
goes over my outfit.
So how do you incorporate a more eco-friendly part and sustainable process to your services, to your stylist services?
Yeah. We all know the climate is changing, where we've got this growing awareness that the fashion industry is responsible for some of the damage to our water
Mm-hmm.
and our planet, and our landfills are filling
Mm-hmm.
up. And that sounds like you're both really clued into that.
Yeah.
And I think the word is getting out. So women, when I work with them, I really, first of all, after we do a closet clean out, I help her look at her buying habits and suggest buying things in a more sustainable way. For example, I encourage everyone to ask yourself before you buy something, do I really need it?
Mm-hmm.
Because some
Mhm.
people do use shopping as therapy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do I really need it? Does it fill a purpose in my wardrobe? Do I already have something similar? I can't tell you how many pairs of black pants I see in
Yeah.
women, especially in their closet. How many
Mhm.
jeans do you need?
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I think
Right.
we one pair
Very,
each now, but
Yeah.
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 men wear jeans a lot.
Yeah.
I got my husband wearing chinos now, and that's a
Mm.
really great alternative here, especially in the summer in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southwest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a lightweight cotton fabric, and it's
Uh-huh.
built kind of like
Sure.
a trouser. It's really
Uh-huh.
attractive on men.
So it sounds
Yeah.
like this was something that was important to you, but even before, like before you got into styling.
Not really,
Oh,
honestly,
no.
I did
Okay.
not think about any of this. As
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think, fast fashion is pretty new. I
That's
would
true.
say it's
Mhm.
around the 90s that
Mhm.
Mhm.
companies started realizing, oh, we can make clothes a lot more cheap, a lot cheaper. That's kind of, do you remember when we switched from number sizes of our clothing to small, medium, and large?
Yeah.
Well, that was so that the manufacturers didn't have to do as much tailoring. So the
Mm.
process of making clothing has changed, and we're not as tailored. That's why, and I love this, a lot of the younger generation is really into vintage clothing because it's
Interesting.
Yeah.
made so much nicer. The
Mhm.
fabrics are nicer, they're tailored to our bodies, and they're just a lot nicer. So I'm happy about that, because that's going to mean that people aren't buying new clothes; they're buying clothes that have already been worn.
Y
And so back to those questions that are going to really look at her buying habits. So what I'm
Mhm.
doing is I'm encouraging her, once we get her closet and her wardrobe how we want it and it fills all of her needs, then that kind of cuts down on impulse buying. So that's like
Sure.
the
Mhm.
number one thing,
Yeah.
turn off the spigot
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
literally go shopping maybe 4 times at the most a year. You know,
It's like, it's like anything else, I think, like the way even if it was just about money and spending, once you know it, then it's like, oh, then you're more mindful of it. But if you've never thought about how many times you
it's
go out and
true.
buy clothes, you're not even thinking it's a big deal because you
Yeah.
just, but it's like when you realize it, then
Yeah.
you go, oh my gosh, it's like how many times do you go get coffee during the week out instead of in? And once you realize the amount of money and energy that goes into that, then you go, oh. So it's like when we
Mhm.
know better, then we do better,
Yeah.
you know?
You can't forget it, right? It's
Right.
in your
Yeah.
brain
Yeah. It's like,
somewhere.
oh, it was
Yeah.
pointed out to me that I buy this amount of clothing and you can't deny it then once you
Well,
realize that.
And the other thing, years ago when I would do a closet clean out, we would put all the clothes into garbage bags, and I would take them, or she would take them to a thrift store or a charity. And
Mhm.
everything would just go into that bag that she, was discarding. And we didn't even think about, was there value in that pile of
That's
clothes?
true. That's
So
true.
now my growth is that now I'm aware that there is so much value in a lot of our discarded clothing and accessories,
Yeah.
and that people are willing to buy secondhand.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I 100% agree with you. And I think even in the past when we had a very different lifestyle and spent money all the time and didn't care what it was on, I think even then I knew, oh, well, it's okay because I can just, sell it on. I didn't even know about Poshmark at the time or any of that. I think it
Right.
was about eBay or whatever. But now that we're more aware and we buy from pre-owned, then it's already in our head. Okay, well, yeah, this is just a better cycle
Yeah.
than it was previously. So you bring me to your book because you have a book that's about that exact topic, turn your closet into cash. So
Yeah.
is that when you realized, oh, now I can make money, or was it in
You know,
conversations with people?
Shannon, the moment I realized it was almost like you guys went during COVID, during the
Mm,
shutdown. And I realized, oh my gosh, nobody's going to invite me into their home right now to clean out their closet, right?
true, true.
So
Yeah.
we're all getting, we got isolated for that year. And
Uh-huh.
so I thought, well, what do? I can sell their clothes. I can sell my clothes. I can sell their clothes and
Yes.
make money. So I started learning. Honestly, before then, I knew about Poshmark and all the
Mhm.
online consignment stores, but I wasn't utilizing them. I was just utilizing local brick and
Mm,
mortar stores.
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I taught myself everything I needed to know about photography,
Mhm.
pricing, how do you package and ship,
Yeah.
who's the most reliable. All the different online consignment stores, they kind of specialize in different audiences and
Mhm.
different types of clothing and different items, even
Yeah.
houseware, which I'm sure you guys talk about and deal
Yeah.
with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I took all of that information that I learned over the past few years and I turned it into a book.
Whether you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a business owner, or anyone who handles any kind of marketing, we can't wait to tell you about one of our trusted partners, Flowdesk.
Yes, say goodbye to complicated email marketing platforms. Flowdesk is the ultimate productivity tool that simplifies everything, making your life just a lot easier.
Yeah. We used
Mhm.
to rely on MailChimp. You've probably heard of all the email platforms, MailChimp, Constant Contact, HubSpot has one. And look, if you're using those, that's fine. Do whatever you want to do. But if you want to up your game and guess what? Save some money. The aesthetics with Flowdesk alone are going to sell you if you just go in and try it out.
Eye-catching layouts and all kinds of beautiful creations come with Flowdesk.
Just as a business owner, you really do need to be communicating with your audience via newsletters. If you aren't doing that, you could go ahead and just start with Flowdesk. I tell people all the time that when you are only depending on your audience community being social media, you're really setting yourself up as a disservice because you don't have those people's emails. If something happens with Meta today, all the people that follow you or you connect with on social media platforms are gone. So you really do need to be building a community via email so that you can communicate with them that way if you have a product or service.
We've secured a special 50% off link for you to try out Flowdesk. Experience its incredible features and see the difference for yourself. Once you fall in love with it, which we know you will, you'll also save money on your subscription.
That's right. Don't miss out on that offer. You can go to arneradventures.com/flowdesk and give it a try. So when you work with someone and you do sort of assess how much they're buying and all of that, their habits, then you get, let's just say you're into the nitty gritty about building a capsule wardrobe. So can you give us some tips on if someone's listening and let's just say let's just say they're past that first step and they recognize it's an issue and they're going to put some things into place. What's sort of one of the first tips or recommendations that you make for someone when they want to start building a capsule wardrobe?
I think the number one thing is that the colors in your wardrobe should be as mixable as possible. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You don't want to have what I call orphan clothing that doesn't really go with anything. So if you pick out a beautiful fuchsia pink top, but none of your bottoms will go with fuchsia, then that's an orphan. That's not really going to work.
I love
So
that.
I've got a kind of a good rule of thumb for thinking about color with your capsule wardrobe.
Okay.
So you just create a small color palette. Start out that way. 3 main colors. So those could be your favorite colors that you love to wear every day. And then 2 neutral colors. So those are your blank canvases.
Okay.
That everything goes with. And then 4 accent colors. So these are your pops of color that add variety and pizzazz to your outfits. So and you could choose maybe the latest trendy colors every year. Go out and buy something in icy blue or a deep burgundy or a rose, something that you wouldn't ordinarily wear every day, but you do want those pops of color.
Right.
So you've got a lot of color. That's what is that? 9 different colors that you can incorporate, but that is your color palette. And your color palette, what I do with women is I do a color analysis that it's super popular again. Everybody's getting their colors done. And I tell you what your palette is. And it's basically the 4 seasons. You can do 12 seasons. You can get really, really detailed. But I kind of pull it out and just kind of generally give her an idea whether she's warm or cool or autumn or summer, that kind of thing.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about you and I don't even know what you're thinking, but I was just thinking, oh, Jerry could totally benefit from this too. Like I'm assuming, because you said you work with some men, but I'm assuming it's the same way, right? The colors and the things that look better on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jerry, what are you like drawn to? Are you drawn to certain colors?
Well, I was thinking that as you talked, in fact, I can see my closet there. And I was thinking, I've always just kind of worn what came my way. But I think I've always in general, sort of darker colors. Like I never liked things like polo shirts that were sort of those pastel kind of colors. I never did like things like that. I tend to wear that's probably why I have this on. I like blues a lot, like darker.
Yeah. And I picture burgundies and stuff. Like you have a lot of deep burgundy.
Yeah. I got a few things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it does make me think though, because I think, well, I should have some brighter colors.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
It would be really fun.
And we've tried. I think the last time we bought him some shirts from Poshmark when we needed them for a vacation, we realized he didn't have a lot of summer clothes. And so we bought some and I got him and I remember bringing him in and he was like, I'm not real crazy about that bright green, or I'm not crazy about
Yeah, like pastels and that I don't like, but I was just thinking, the Cuban shirts I have.
Yeah.
They're light. They're very basic, but they're lighter. There's a white, there's a gray, and a light blue, what we call here in North Carolina, Carolina blue.
Yeah.
And I like those. Yeah, they're real light, and those shirts are just airy too. They feel summery, so I probably like them being a little bit lighter. Now that I think about it, I do have mine.
Your palette is probably winter, which is those are deep saturated colors, but they have brightness to them. They're bold colors. So you could think of the word bold. Instead of the pastels are probably aren't for you because those are summer colors. They're a little more muted.
Mhm.
and soft. But if you think of bold colors, maybe it would be fun just to try a bold green, maybe in a deeper hue,
Mm.
a little bit of deep green, or maybe
Yeah.
a deep, deep pink, not
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
light
Yeah.
pink, but
Yeah.
something
Mhm.
really deep.
Yeah. And I like really dark greens like forest green
Yeah.
and stuff
And
like that.
emerald.
Yeah.
Emerald
Yeah.
could be really, really nice. So,
Mhm.
I always say try one piece in it,
Right?
a new color, and see what you think.
That way, see, I get to order a Philadelphia Eagles shirt because they are dark green, and that's my
Is
team.
that your team? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, same. Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing
Um,
pretty well.
can people work with you just for their colors? Like if someone's listening to this and goes, well, I feel like I have a good handle, but I would like to know my
Yeah.
colors. Do you work with people just with that?
Oh, sure. Oh, I put together many years ago an online style course, and there's
Okay.
4 modules, and the first module is about color and
Got it.
determining your colors. And then once we determine your colors, then I send you a color package, which has a card and a fan deck, with
Oh,
all your
I love
colors,
that.
because it's great. You have to kind of tune your eye to the specific color green, because everyone can wear green, but
Uh-huh.
they're different tints and shades of green that
Mhm.
we each can wear. So
Yeah.
that's what that color card really tunes you into.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I might do that with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not expensive,
Yeah.
because it's virtual, and
Mhm.
everybody, it's something you can just kind of add to your lexicon, thinking
Yes.
about color.
I
Yeah.
love that you sort of run the gamut of people who have no idea how to do any of this,
Right.
and then people who feel like they have a good, because I feel like I have a good handle of it, but I know that the color thing is an issue. But I love that you're well versed in your services. It's really
Oh,
great.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the
Well,
second thing I would do, when you're creating a capsule wardrobe, it's minimal, like
uh-huh.
you guys specialize in.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And so you also want to think about your style uniform. And when I say uniform, I just mean the types of clothes that you normally would put on and you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
What styles do you wear every day? So it takes away that decision stress, what you're
Yes.
going to
Mhm.
wear when you have a uniform. And
Oh,
I think
totally.
men are good at that.
Uh-huh.
Women, we always think we have to look different every day, you know,
Yeah.
and try
Yeah.
new things. But really, if you create a style uniform, you know exactly what works for your body shape,
Uh-huh.
and you just choose pieces that create good balance and proportion in your body. That's a great way to minimize the amount of clothing that you have.
The idea of that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime there's
Mhm.
something, whether it's clothes, whether it's processes you have, that you have something that you don't have to think.
right,
You're so systemized to do it, the
right,
better. And I
Yeah.
think it's
right.
exactly what's the guy who
Mark Zuckerberg, is that you're thinking
I
of?
was actually thinking Apple.
Steve
Oh,
Jobs,
Steve
Steve
Jobs.
he's
Jobs.
I
known for uniform.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
heard him say before that, well, I don't have to think about it. So it's
yeah,
one less thing I have to think about. And so I can be more creative and
Yeah.
productive in other ways. And I completely agree with
Well,
that.
and it's the same thing with Mark
Yeah.
Zuckerberg. He has the gray
yeah,
T-shirt he wears 7 days a week,
I
Yeah.
and I
know,
was like, "That's a little odd," but I can respect that. He doesn't wanna think about it. He puts
Yeah.
on
I
that one
know.
shirt, same every day. He
Mm-hmm.
goes on his way.
But I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of mad at those guys, because we used to dress up in the computer industry, because I
Mhm.
started, remember I said, back in the
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
70s. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
once Mark Zuckerberg came on the scene, he really gave everyone permission to dress down. And
Mm.
so
Okay.
to
Mhm.
me, yes, a t-shirt and jeans is wonderful, but it's boring.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
self-expression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
You're
first
right. Yeah.
impression of someone who doesn't know Mark Zuckerberg probably isn't taking him very seriously. They're just
Yeah.
like, okay, you
Well,
know?
that's what I mean. I feel it is a little odd, but I can respect his
Yeah.
idea for doing it.
Yeah,
But I would never wanna just have that same
Yeah.
weird
yeah.
shirt every
I'm
Yeah.
old school, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
An example of a style uniform, I just met a woman here in Santa Fe, and I've seen her at several different events because my
Mhm.
husband is an artist. So we go to a
Uh-huh.
lot of art openings.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
she's got a uniform, and hers is always a crisp white blouse, with that beautiful crisp collar that kind of goes
Uh-huh.
up. And
Uh-huh.
then she'll wear a vest over it and different pants. Sometimes it's a loose trouser, sometimes it's jeans, but I've seen her enough times that I went, that's her uniform. Isn't
Okay.
Ah.
that amazing? And it always looks
Yeah.
Yeah.
so sharp.
She knows what works for her.
Right. It
Uh-huh.
sounds like she has a good
Yeah.
handle of it.
Mhm.
Well,
Pretty neat.
fast five. You
Fast
ready?
5, yeah.
Okay, this is just this or that. Just helps us have a fun way to get to know you a little bit better. And they're
Okay.
always tailored to you. So it's gonna be for you.
Casual sneakers or classy heels?
I'm in the casual sneaker world now.
Okay.
Ah, there
Okay.
you go. Okay.
Love
Number
it.
2, thrift stores or eco-friendly boutiques.
Eco-friendly boutique.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Last minute dresser or plan your outfit in advance?
Well, I'm a stylist. I plan.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
Okay.
reduces last minute stress, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. If you know what
Yeah.
you're going to wear,
Mhm.
you're never late.
That is so true. That's so
I can
true.
appreciate that.
Okay,
Yeah.
number 4, classic black or vibrant colors.
I'm a vibrant color person, but
Mhm.
I love classic black too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
there's a time and a
Maybe
place.
a
Mhm.
tie for that
Yeah.
one.
I think I might know where this is going. Ketchup or mustard?
Ooh. I'm into mustard now because
I
I
knew
use
it.
it in my vinaigrette.
Ah,
Oh,
gotcha.
When
I
I
knew she
make
was gonna say
salad
mustard.
dressing.
Well, I'm thinking color-wise, it's way more interesting than ketchup.
Oh, I was thinking
Yeah.
food. I must be getting hungry.
No, we are talking about food. No, no.
Yeah.
So ketchup and mustard is one of those things that we do. We have since, I don't know, episode 10 or 20, made it number 5 for everybody because we
Yeah.
think it's so interesting to figure out who's going to answer what. And
Yeah.
Jerry thinks it's a really big key of how to get to know somebody. So the whole time we're going through those, I was like, she's going to say mustard. She's going to say
Yeah.
mustard. So
I
that's
am
funny that
because
you
I
thought
wear
that too.
mustard. In fact, my top, I don't know if you could see
Oh,
it.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mustard.
Question just seems to really bring out more enthusiasm
It
in,
does.
in people than any of
It
the
does.
people love that.
It
Don't
does.
you
It's
think? And
simple.
people argue about on a hot dog. What can you
Yes.
put on a hot dog?
It's usually the big conversation. If someone's really extreme in one way, the next topic that comes up is the hot dog.
We mentioned
Yeah.
that the other day. We're talking
Yeah?
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the food that always comes
People
up.
are pretty passionate about it.
Gotta have it on the hot dog.
Those were
yeah.
great, guys. That
Yeah.
was really
Well,
good.
The question that we do ask everyone, Linda, is what does a life well lived mean to you?
That's a very good question. Okay, hopefully that's way down the road for me to really
Yeah.
think about. But
Mhm.
I think when I close my eyes for the final time on this earth, I kind of want to know that I did everything I could to fulfill my purpose. And like a pebble that you would throw into a stream or a pond, the ripples of my life changed other people's lives. So I really do live that way. I like
Mm.
influencing and teaching and watching the light bulbs go on, and that'll make me feel good.
I love that answer.
Oh, I do too, because I really like the ripple part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you made a difference. And yeah, like you said,
Mhm.
the influence and teaching part of it. You know,
Mhm.
I think anytime you can share something that is really good and like, that can help improve someone's life when you're
Yeah.
sharing it, it's just, yeah, you've made a difference. And
But
I
if
think,
you if you're geared that way too to share, then you want to learn more, so you can share more.
Yeah.
So it's a cycle.
Don't you think? I mean, doing a
Yes.
podcast, you're always learning.
oh
Oh yeah.
gosh,
Yeah. Mhm.
always,
Yeah.
always. There's such camaraderie in it. But there's also the biggest thing I would say that we learn from any of these conversations is that we learn that we're always learning and that
Mhm.
someone else, while you think, oh, they've experienced something similar to me, they're so different. And I love everyone's path. I love hearing how they got on their path. I love, anytime someone is sharing something that helps other people, like you just said, is so valuable. And so I love that that was your answer. It was great.
Thank you. That's good.
Well, I would love it too, Linda, if you could tell our audience where they can find you, how they can access your book, and we're going to link it down in the show notes.
Okay, good. You can find me at lindawaldon.com. So it's just my name.
Okay.
LINDAWALDON.com. Everything kind of flows out of my website. And my book is on Amazon. It's a Kindle. And all you have to do is search for Turn Your Closet into Cash.
Yep.
And you'll
that's how we
download
found it.
the book and start following it. And I encourage you, as you're reading it, to email me or call me or text me, and ask questions, because I really want everyone to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Good for the planet.
And if you want to know your colors, you work with them too. So we're going to put all that stuff down in the show notes. And this was just a pleasure. And we're so appreciative of you spending the time with us, especially we're recording this on a Saturday. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Linda. It was a pleasure to meet you both. I love your podcast, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, wasn't that just a fabulous conversation?
It was wonderful.
We learned so much.
We did, and besides that, she was just a really pleasant person to have any kind of conversation with. I would think.
Right when we got off of the call with her, what was the first thing you said? Do you remember?
I said, well, she was really charming.
Very charming. She was very charming.
Very charming, yeah.
We always say, we feel like we're having somebody into our home with these conversations. And she was just a bright light on a gloomy Saturday here.
That's right. She brought some of that New Mexico sunshine into our little room here, our little podcast room. But no, it is, it's a neat thing on a Saturday sometimes. It is like having somebody over. And when you have a shared idea of what you're going to talk about, it just makes for a great conversation.
Well, I tell you, talking about nuggets that we have from the show, one of the biggest things that I learned from her is, we have a pretty good capsule wardrobe each. And, over COVID, we ended up selling a lot of our clothes. I lost a lot of weight and sold them on Poshmark. And as her book says, I turned my closet into cash. And now we buy from Poshmark and other resale companies because, it just feels better that we're doing something better for the environment. But what I did learn from her is, as minimalists, I feel like I have a lot of just black and white. And I have a few pops of color in my closet, but not a lot. And it was really nice to hear that, while she works with people to build sustainable capsule wardrobes, I feel like I have that down, but now I want to know more about my specific colors and what looks good on me. I love that. So I'm totally going to work with her about that.
Well, yeah. And I'm somebody that's never had many ideas about clothing. I haven't thought a lot about it. Talking to her, I realized, I said, well, I sort of gravitate towards deeper colors, darker, like how about navy blue t-shirt on? I said, like this, and she said, well, you're probably a winter. There, I learned something. I would have never thought I'm a winter, but I guess I am.
I would have never thought that either.
She steered me towards she said, well, try maybe a deep green, which I made an excuse then to Shannon that, a deep green, like forest green. Oh, like my team, the Philadelphia Eagles. There's an excuse to buy one of their t-shirts. And she said, they're doing quite well, right? She must be a football fan. I said, yes, they are.
Well, I bet you can buy one of those t-shirts on Poshmark.
I'm sure
I'm sure someone's selling a t-shirt on Poshmark that's a deep green and Eagles.
They might not be selling those now. Everybody's holding on to them. They're doing pretty good.
Maybe.
There's no reason to jump ship at this point.
Maybe.
I don't know.
There's
We'll see.
Plenty of reasons. Sometimes people get
a
better Philadelphia Eagles shirt. Sometimes it's someone who only supported them because they were in a relationship and that person broke up with them. And they're like, I got to get rid of this. I'm going to make some cash. Instead of burning it, I might as well make some cash. I can come up with a bunch of stories as to why someone would sell it.
That was typically more of the female response. The woman was supporting her man's football team. And, yeah.
I have a Phillies t-shirt because of you. I mean, and I do like baseball. And of course, I'm going to pull for them because of you.
Yeah.
But,
And you've been to 2 games with me,
That's right.
So
that's right.
You're kind of a fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about working with Linda about my colors, but we're going to link in the show notes how you can work with her for your entire capsule wardrobe. She was just lovely. And I loved everything about this episode. And I love the synergy that we have with so many of our guests that align with our lifestyle. It was just perfect.
Once again, it was. Yeah, everything was great. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arnerdventures.com or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.